Something happened earlier today.
You okay?
Oh, no. We're talking about the beard.
Oh.
Almost brought tears to my eyes when I saw it. James Harden is taking a pay cut with the Philadelphia 76ers. $15 million. It's a lot of money. Even for him, $15 million is a lot to pass up on. It's a lot of nights out at the club that he missed out on. A lot.
He's going to make it back.
But all this for the sole focus of winning a championship. There has been speculation that he took the pay cut because Michael Rubin can get him more sponsorship deals and stuff. Maybe that happens, maybe it doesn't. But James Harden taking his pay cut just reassured me of the man I know he is. He wants to win. He will do whatever it takes to win. And he sees the Philadelphia 76ers have made some great offseason moves. DeAnthony Melton, a pest. Is he an okay to not good player, River? Or is he good?
He's okay.
Who?
DeAnthony Melton.
Okay.
He's
He's
okay.
a
Good backup.
good player.
Good backup, though.
He's a good player.
He's okay.
PJ Tucker, the best corner 3-and-D player in the NBA.
Grant Williams.
Then you talk about
Williams.
the Sixers freeing up $15 million to maybe go get another, player. Maybe Colin Sexton comes to Philadelphia. Who knows? Colin Sexton will be pretty good, but I think they need wings. And now Harden, it's just been such a tough road for him. He came into the 2020-2021 season out of shape because he wanted to get out of Houston. He requested a trade. He got his wish to go to Brooklyn, although first option was always Philadelphia. He gives Brooklyn his all, is in the MVP conversation, injures his hamstring in the playoffs, game 1 in the second round, unfortunate. Series is tied 2-2, and he decides, you know what, I'm going to be coming back for game 5. I'm going to put my health on the line on a grade 2 hamstring, and I'm going to play.
Motivational. He
played 50-plus minutes on that hamstring. And because of that poor decision, because he wanted to win so bad, he had to rehab the entire offseason and nearly cost his career because of it. Now, a year later, people are talking on this man's downfall, whether or not he's going to be the same player. But guess what? This is the first offseason in the past couple of years where James Harden is fully invested on a team, and he wants to win a championship. He passed up on $50 million per year with Houston to go to Brooklyn in the first place. Is Bradley Beal doing that? No. He just signed a Supermax. Is Damian Lillard doing that? Somebody who said he's wanted to win? No. He's not. They're not. Because they're not about what they say. But James Harden is about what he says 100%. He said he wants to win. He's taking that pay cut. This isn't the only pay cut he took, because he took it in Houston when they offered him that big-time money. But he said, you know what? I don't want to be a part of this because I want to win a championship. Can you imagine that? He's coming off his worst year in a long time. And he averaged 22 a game, 7.7 rebounds per game, 10.3 assists. Those are career numbers. If DeMar DeRozan had that, we'd be saying that's his best season yet. See, I feel like that's the thing with those two guys. No shade of DeMar, I love, great season.
Let's throw shade at
But they traded places. Last year, DeMar was what James Harden always was, and James Harden became what DeMar DeRozan has always been. But now that's no more. At James Harden's worst, he was an all-star. 27th in scoring, 8th among shooting guards, 4th in rebounding amongst all guards, and was 2nd in the NBA in assists, 26th in PER. That's a down season for the beard. That's a shaved season for the beard. Now,
I like that.
What he's going to do this upcoming season, going to take the league by storm. He's going to be an all-NBA performer once again. He's going to be a top 10 MVP candidate once again with Joel Embiid. They're going to have 2 MVP candidates. And with the roster they're assembling, they will be favorites in the Eastern Conference. James Harden is getting back to his All-NBA caliber level. And this pay cut was just the first step in that direction. Now he's fully focused. Have you seen him, his body recently? Amazing. He's on TikTok now. He posted a TikTok.
Really?
I commented and I liked it.
Let me take a look.
With Sam Cassell, right?
With Sam Cassell.
That one was dope.
He's wearing a long sleeve 76ers blue shirt. His body looks spectacular. James Harden is getting back to his old ways. And this is the year where he wins that NBA championship.
Wow,
I think this year it happens.
That didn't move anybody.
I think this year it happens.
Let me go first, Drew, because I
No
didn't
problem,
like the DeMar shade.
Yeah, that was unnecessary.
And you know, he tends to do this, and this is why we laugh at his players, because this is your problem. You want us to put James Harden here, yet you tend to bring, when you talk about him, you bring him here. We look at James Harden as a top 5 shooting guard ever, right? We look at James Harden as one of the greatest scorers ever, right?
No doubt.
So why do you feel like you need to compare him to a player that's not in his caliber? DeMar is an all-star in his own right. He is one of the 20 to 25 best players in the league.
All respect to DeMar DeRozan.
But he's not.
Nothing but respect.
But why
for
are
him.
you compare James Harden to his contemporaries? The guys he's
just
on,
for this past season? Because they traded places.
I let you do your little spiel.
Nah, you had a whole spiel.
I let you
They
do
traded
your,
places.
I let you do your thing. Compare him to players of his contemporary. Giannis, he just won a championship. He had 50. Incredible run. James Harden never had that. Steph Curry, he has 4 championships. James had 0.
Yeah.
LeBron James, nothing needs to be said. Kevin Durant, 2-time champion, 2-time finals MVP, averaged 30+
Weak move.
in NA finals. Harden should have done it. Kawhi Leonard, 2-time champion, Toronto, one of the greatest runs of our era, the 2000 era. We've seen that. Compare him to his contemporaries, bro. Because if you compare him to his contemporaries, you'll notice that he gets the short end of the stick when it comes to winning. Stop comparing him to players we know is not on his level. DeMar is a great player. He's not on James Harden's level. We know that, bro. Harden is when he's at his best, a top 6-7 player in the world. But he hasn't been playing like it. Why is that? It's not DeMar's fault. It's not our fault. It's his fault. He went to Philly. He felt like he had the best chance to win a championship in Philly, right? I think we feel like now you're playing with a top 6 player in the world, right? Joel Embiid. Made some good moves in the offseason. You picked up PJ Tucker. You picked up a really good backup, so now you won't lose those minutes. DeAnthony Melton is a really good backup.
Thought it was just okay to not good.
Okay to not good, but he's a really good backup. There's a little difference here. Really good backup. You picked him up, right? You got a good team. You made your good offseason. You still have Doc Rivers. Okay. You can manage that. Joel Embiid just had one of his best seasons. He's still going to get better, right? Now you have an opportunity. If you come back to that All-NBA play, you can win a championship. This team is kind of built in that way. It really just rests on you. Do I think he can go to an All-NBA level? Yeah, there's 3 All-NBA teams. It just depends on which All-NBA team we're talking about. Are we talking about first team All-NBA Harden? Do I think he can get back to that level? I don't know. That's still a wait-and-see process. But I do think he can get back to an All-NBA level. But it really just depends on how he comes back. You said he's been in the gym. We've seen him in the gym with Sam Cassell. He lost some weight. Like you said, he's had a full season now where he can get healthy, full off season where he can get healthy. So now it's something to see. But it's going to be tough. The league has gotten better. The Bucks are still around. Boston is around. We see they just stopped Kevin Durant and Kyrie. I am 1,000% sure if they can stop those two, they can stop James Harden. So it's going to come down to what James Harden do we see. You still got Miami. Miami's still going to be that annoying team that's going to be around. And then in the West, you got the Clippers. You got Golden State. You got Denver. You got Phoenix. You got Dallas. It's a lot of teams in the East, a lot of talent. Luka, Steph, the Joker. Embiid is with you. You still got LeBron around. Giannis is around. Jason Tatum is getting better. Jimmy Butler's around. Kawhi Leonard is coming back. There's a lot of talent in the NBA. Harden needs to be at where he should be at for them to be in championship mode. Because if he's not on that level with the guys I just named, who they all have a ring and they all have won championships and they all have done something in the finals or in a specific run, he needs to be on that level for them to be a championship team. Because that's at the end of the day, this team relies on James Harden to be that level for them to win the championship.
He will be.
A lot of things he said here are 100% sound. However, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I'm really middleman right here, but I really lean more so with Joel in the sense of you're kind of attacking James Harden's legacy right there.
He attacked DeMar. I had to go into attack mode.
Which is fine.
You didn't even care about DeMar a year ago.
He wasn't on my team. Now he's on my team. Got to pay homage.
The only reason why I say
called
like
him mid for years.
I didn't call him mid for years.
You called him the Frozen for years.
I don't even use that phrase.
the Frozen
Called him a
rude.
choker for years in the playoffs.
No, you did. Stop putting what you say on me.
All
DeMar
right,
DeRozan is not a player that you like.
all right. The spotlight's
That's
on
cool.
me, boys. All right.
Sorry, buddy.
Point being is James Harden taking $15 million less to essentially better the team speaks on James Harden's character more than anything. James Harden over these past 2 seasons at least, let me not say because obviously there's been James Harden stands, but consensus that James Harden was being relatively selfish, wanted out of Houston, forces his way out of there, looks out of shape. This going into this season didn't seem like as if he was in shape, but again, that's due to injury as well. Goes to Philadelphia, was inconsistent still. Had moments where he was James Harden, had moments where he was just not who we were anticipating him to be. So he takes the pay cut here because he understands that his legacy's on the line, like River just laid out. He understands that there's a laundry list of players ahead of him right now who have done a laundry list a little bit strong. Let me say, Riv hit it right on the head with it. You have LeBron, you have KD, you have Steph Curry, you have Kawhi Leonard, you have Giannis Antetokounmpo. You have guys like Luka Doncic on your tail, Jimmy Butler, Jason Tatum. These are all young guys that are coming for that spot that you're running out of time. Your time to be great, to win a championship is coming to an end. He is with a top 5 to 7 player in the NBA in Joel Embiid. And by taking less money, PJ Tucker, of course, coming to join the squad as well. You mentioned Melton coming in also as a backup point guard. It allows you to fill the roster with more needs to not just cater to James, but of course cater to Joel Embiid, who is the best player on this team. I do believe that Harden's going to come back this season and be great. But that still does not take away from the fact that he has pressure that he has already felt in the past. And it's going to come down to if he can come through in the playoffs or not. It's the same thing over and over with Harden. We don't care about the regular season with Harden. We know who Harden is. It's a matter of in the playoffs, where we happen to know who James Harden is also. We need to see the narrative change. And I do believe that the Sixers are going to be a lot better than they were last season because Harden's going to be better.
So they're going to the ECF. That's a lot better.
I just look at Milwaukee, and I think that I would rather Milwaukee squad.
This guy's never winning a
And
championship.
Boston, personally, you may disagree, that Rob Will, Al Horford tandem can halt Joel Embiid. I do believe that.
He won't win.
The truth about James Harden is that in the playoffs, people tend to over-exaggerate how bad he is because he's a great all-time playoff performer.
Correct. Oh,
Because when you look at his stats,
I don't know about that, King.
You over-exaggerate 11 turnovers in a
when you look at his
elimination
stats,
game.
he definitely has bad moments. But in the bubble, he averaged 30 points per game in that entire playoff run. The year before that, when Kawhi won a championship in 2019, Kawhi averaged 28 points per game versus Golden State in the finals. In the Western Conference Finals, in the second round where Harden faced the Golden State Warriors, he averaged 35 points per game. His numbers across the board were better than Kawhi Leonard's. That he had better stats versus Golden State than Kawhi did against Golden State. James Harden for the past 4 to 5 seasons has been otherworldly in the playoffs. The difference is that he doesn't match his season's averages because in a season he averages 30, 35, 36, and people expect him to do that. But honestly, who is doing that in the playoffs? Nobody's doing that very few are doing that in the playoffs. James Harden is a great playoff performer, and before he got hurt in Brooklyn, he arguably one of his best playoff series of his career versus Boston statistically, and he was going into Milwaukee ready.
You talking about when they had Evan Fournier?
He was going into Milwaukee ready to make a statement, and he got hurt. It's unfortunate. He should have won a championship 2 years ago with Brooklyn. That's fine. Hey, that's fine.
Interesting.
As a third guy, but they won the most with him. And he was arguably the most important player as a playmaker for them.
He was MVP at one point in time in that season also.
So you can say the third guy all you want.
Like you just said, we
know
don't
what he is.
care
You're
about
right.
the regular
I don't
season. We don't. It's
You're right.
for a guy like that of his stature, we don't care about the regular season anymore. It's all about what you do from April on. What happens before that, we don't care.
They're going to make the Eastern Conference Finals for sure.